Michelangelo was the first superstar artist. He was a sculptor, a painter, an architect, a poet, and an engineer. An outsider touched by genius. His statue of David, the most famous statue in the world, personifies the aesthetics of high Renaissance art, the politics of Renaissance Florence, and the technical virtuosity of Greek sculpture. In one of his poems, Michelangelo wrote, "Son di essere brutto," I know I am ugly. His nose was broken and appeared crushed into his face, which he said gave him the look of a beggar. He was tortured by his appearance and alienated from his own body. Despite, or perhaps because of this, he would spend his life in pursuit of sublime perfection. He could do little about his own looks, but he would make sure his David would be the standard by which male beauty would be judged. Because of the shape of the marble, Michelangelo had to be precise. There was no room for maneuver. David had to look to the side as there wasn't enough marble to have him facing forward. David had to be in the contrapposto position so that his legs would fit around the large hole already in the marble. And he would have to be slender because of the depth of the marble. David's neck is tense. His thigh muscles are flexed. His nostrils are flared and his brow is furrowed with fear. He is tense but contemplates the challenge ahead of him with a calculated gaze. The rock is hidden inside his right palm. The slingshot rests on his shoulder and hangs down his back, almost invisible, emphasizing that David's victory was intellectual. His chest appears to pulse with anxiety. David has a slight squint. It is rarely remarked on, but his eyes point in slightly different directions. This is a typical Michelangelo trick to pull us into the eyes of David. The pupils are carved out hollow to capture the changing sunlight, adding to the intensity of the gaze. Michelangelo calculated every angle and always considered the position of the viewer. The details are extraordinary. My own favourite is the jugular vein, which is swollen. This only occurs when people get excited or nervous. Michelangelo understood this over a century before scientists would describe the circulatory system. The veins in the raised left hand are delicate, while the veins in the hanging right hand are pulsing and more well defined. The way our blood circulates, this is exactly what would happen to our own hands in the same position. Every detail points to Michelangelo's passion for human anatomy. Michelangelo, who never wasted a minute of his life, worked morning, noon and night on David, alone and in total secrecy. At night, he would attach candles to his hat. He rarely ate, and when he did sleep, he slept in his clothes, which he seldom, if ever, changed. In 1504, he finally presented his giant to the cathedral committee. They were astonished at Michelangelo's skills and agreed it was far too perfect to be placed at such a height. They decided to find a better location and eventually decided it should be placed in the political heart of Florence, in Piazza della Signoria, in front of the town hall, where its copy still is today. The Italian 16th century historian Giorgio Vasari wrote, "After seeing this, no one need wish to look at any other sculpture or the work of any other artist."